Let's talk business. For global business updates, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Vimbai. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning to all our viewers out there. Trump is making all the headlines. It's, what is it, CCC, China, Canada, and crypto. So Trump is heading to Asia. He has a full Asia swing starting from next week. He's departing for Malaysia, according to Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Later on today, he's going to visit Japan. Takachi is going to have a meeting with him, the new Prime Minister. That's going to be a very interesting one between Japan and the United States. Then he heads to South Korea. APEC is happening, of course, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation CEO Summit. Apparently he's going to address them. And then the big day, of course, is next Thursday. He's going to be, according to so far, because remember, there was supposed to be a meeting with Russia. That was cancelled. So the announcement now is that there will be a meeting between President Trump and President Xi Jinping on Thursday. What are the key things that they're talking about? Remember, China has been squeezing the United States' neck by limiting the export of rare earth minerals. They are everywhere. They're in your mobile phones, this camera that is trained on all of us here in the studio, vehicles, fighter jets, and China, of course, as we all know, controls the refining of that. There's also the matter of chips, then the fact that China has not been buying any soybeans from the United States. So there's a whole lot there. China, of course, wants to see less tariffs. That's what it's all about. It's all about the tariffs. It's all about trade. And speaking of tariffs and trade, okay, before I get to Canada, let's quickly run through the markets. India is back from the Diwali holidays. Generally positive, but a mixed bag. Shanghai Composite Index is up in China. The markets in Hong Kong are up. The Nikkei is up. The Korea actually has been the standard. Look at that, 2.56%. I think they're up now by 63 or 64% so far this year. And they are pretty upbeat because, Trump has, and they said that supposedly there's supposed to be some good news on the forefront with respect to trade between Korea and the United States. So the Korean markets, again, Samsung, SK Hynix, those are the two particular companies there that have really been boosting the markets. India is down, and so is Australia. So, back to trade. Ronald Reagan, if you all remember, back in, I think it was 1987, he gave a radio address on free trade. And there's part of his speech where he talked about tariffs being damaging to economies. He's not saying anything. I mean, what he said back in 1987 is what everybody has said about tariffs, every analysis on tariffs. So the province of Ontario has spent about $75 million on an ad that they're now playing in the United States, just to remind people that, listen, we do a lot of trade with the US and tariffs are damaging. So to try to push the message through, I understand that the premier, Doug something, he's like the equivalent of a governor. He has said he's a big fan of Ronald Reagan. That is the premier of the province of Ontario in Canada, and that they're going to be pushing this ad through to a lot of Republican states in the United States in order to just remind them that, listen, these tariffs that Trump is pushing through are damaging. So take a listen. Here's an excerpt from the address from Reagan that they picked out for their ad.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
All right, so now the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation put out a statement saying that this ad that Ontario played is quote-unquote misleading. They didn't say what was misleading because they literally used the words of Reagan. I mean, I won't read the entire thing, but just basically saying that the ad campaign uses selective audio and video of President Ronald Reagan, and it supposedly misrepresents the presidential radio address from 1987. again, they did not specify what the misrepresentation was. Meanwhile, Trump said, you know what, I'm not talking no more. he says no more negotiations on trade with Canada as a result. He called it a fake address in his... Yeah, it really hurt him. He didn't like it. He said the ad is going to influence the Supreme Court because they're being sued. The administration is being sued currently by some businesses and democratic states. It's presently, the Supreme Court is going to be hearing oral arguments in November. So he says that it influences them. So we have it there on the screen for our viewers to read. So he just says that he's terminating all talks with Canada, no more negotiations. That's Trump there. Meanwhile, to crypto, we've done Canada, we've done China. Let's get to crypto now. Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. If you remember, last year he was convicted. He pleaded guilty to money laundering under the Biden administration. He served 4 months in prison between May and September. He's been pardoned by President Trump. The White House says that it was a witch hunt and that he didn't commit a crime. But meanwhile, the U.S. Treasury, that's under the Biden administration, said that the KYC, the Know Your Customer standards for Binance were lax and that they basically allowed for money laundering and for criminals and so on to use Binance to just have illicit funds flow through. So Trump has pardoned him, although I encourage everybody to read a Wall Street Journal report on this. Since he came out of prison, Binance has been supporting World Liberty Exchange, which is a coin that Trump has put out. Apparently, his sons, Eric and Donald Trump Jr., have met with representatives from Binance in order to take a stake in the company. Justin Su was another person that the Trump administration intervened in. So you can see that there have been, apart from Changpeng Zhao, there's been 2 or 3 other crypto people that the Trump administration has been favorable to. They've ended investigations into them. And what's being said is a conflict of interest because of, his coin and what is the money that's been going in there. Let's quickly round off. Google Earth, or rather, Google Earth AI has received some enhancements from Google. Basically, they are now able to get more, it's called geospatial modeling. So they're able to get more in-depth models of how the Earth looks in order to pinpoint, for example, vulnerable areas to flooding and also populations and so on. There's a quick clip from the update from Google Earth AI.
What's really fundamental about Earth AI is that it's for the first time bringing together a whole universe of data sets that allows us to make decisions in a new way.
With Google's Earth AI, you can start to now solve multidimensional problems.
With Earth AI, now we're able to identify exactly communities or villages that are going to be affected by hazards such as floods or droughts.
You can actually see what the forecast level of the river will be in the next couple of days.
Hurricanes will always happen, floods will always happen. The key is understanding beforehand what might happen. It's constant because you get the updates every few hours.
We really can think about a different future and a different world for us. And Earth AI does arm us with the potential to design this future and deliver.
And finally, ladies and gents, again, the market in Nigeria continues to climb 50% as of yesterday so far. So all the calculations we did yesterday, if you watched the video, update your calculations to a 50% return.
Good stuff, Rotus. Good stuff, Rotus. You need money before you can buy stuff.